I went to Dallas and came back with fabric. Hello and welcome. I'm Akram Birth, and you're watching Akram's Ideas, bringing creative and crazy ideas to life. Now, in one of my last videos, I mentioned getting to see the Dior exhibit at the Dallas Museum of Art recently. And of course, since I was in Dallas, I had to go to the fabric district. So several vloggers slash bloggers who are in the area have done posts about the fabric district in Dallas, Texas. So it's off of Harry Hines and Perth Street, and it's sort of this industrial park where there are several fabric warehouse outlets, and you can get fabric for amazing prices. So me, along with my close friend who was going to the Dior exhibit together, we decided that while we were down there, we would hit these fabric shops. And we actually got some fabric goodies. To see more episodes like this, be sure to click the like button, subscribe to Akram's Ideas, and hit the bell icon to get notified of new episodes. So I'm going to show you what all I got and where all I got it from. So let's start with the warehouse fabrics. Let's start there. So warehouse fabrics is a white building down Perth Street, and we almost missed it. We saw all these stores that said fabric, and we kept saying, well, where is warehouse fabrics? Because we'd heard about that one in particular, and finally we found it. The name of it, the warehouse fabrics, is kind of off to the side, so the direction that we were coming from, we didn't see it until we actually drove past it and then had to come back around. So it looks very kind of like just a warehouse. It doesn't have really a whole lot of markings on it, but you go inside and there is at the very back of the store a table that has fabric for $2.95 a yard. Now the thing is in most of these cases the yardage is already pre-cut for you, so which means you have to buy the whole cut. And what I found is that a lot of it was like massive amounts of cuts, like at least 6 or plus yards, and it actually says on the tag of some of them how many yards they were. There were some really nice fabrics that I just could not justify getting because there was so much of it and I didn't really need that much of it. But I did get a couple of things from the store. So let's talk about that. So the first one I got was this fabric here, and this is sort of like a cotton sateen. It's a really good shirtweight fabric, and it has these pink stripes and blue flowers. I believe there is a yard and just a hair more because it's kind of got this weird offcut right here, but I'm hoping to get a nice button-down blouse out of this one. That's my plan anyways. And that was the main thing that I was looking for, is some good blouse fabrics, is what I was keeping my eye out for. This fabric I just randomly found. Most of the fabrics in the bins were very generic, very floral prints, stripes, nothing too decorative, I guess you could say. But then I found this solar system fabric. Look at that. Isn't that adorable? So I am in love with this fabric, and this is Stellar. Is it Stellar? Dearest Stellar Designs is what the salvage says. And my plan, since I don't have a lot, I think I have exactly 2 yards or just under 2 yards. So I'm thinking I will make the Simplicity 1419 pattern. It's a older pattern. I believe it may be even out of print now, but it was a Lizette pattern. It's very similar to the Kristen Haynes Emery dress. I believe the main difference is that it's got a pleated skirt versus a gathered skirt. But the idea is to make that out of that fabric. Now, I really didn't need a whole lot of fabric, like I said, but I could not resist this beautiful striped jersey. I think there's about 4 yards here, maybe about 3, but it's such a good quality weight jersey that I couldn't leave without it. And it's a nice weight, but still really thin, so it makes some really nice t-shirts. I'm thinking about like a gable top. I've got enough there. I might even be able to get like a little twin set where I get a little sweater and a little under camisole, jersey camisole. Like I said, I was looking for blouse fabric and I found this beautiful crepe, and it's got this beautiful orange flower on this with polka dots in the background of this maroon color. I really loved it because it's got those autumn colors in it, and I just thought it was so pretty, and it's such a nice crepe as well. It's just nice quality. I believe I have a yard here. The salvage says Star Fabrics Inc. And one of the other reasons I really like this is that they had a bunch of crepe there, and again, great prices, but a lot of yardage. But the print was awfully big on a lot of them, and this one had such a small print. I thought it had more of a 40s feel because the print was much smaller. Along the same lines, I also came across this teal crepe that had a similar size print with these beautiful pink flowers. And I love this. I thought this was really nice because I feel like the teal could work in autumn with brown tones, but then if you added the pink, you could get away with wearing it in the spring as well. And I don't know, I really like that print. It's a little larger than the previous one, but again, I still feel like it has the size of a 40s style print. Now, the last fabric is the first fabric I found and the first one that I picked up when I went into this store. And I bought 6 yards of it, but specifically, I know what I'm going to make with this, and that's why I knew the 6 yards was going to be fine. This is a polka dot blue with a border print. And this is amazing. This reminds me of one of the Gertie fabrics. It's a little different than hers. Hers had like a gradient of flowers coming down, but it's very, very similar. And they had 6 yards, like I said, $2.95 a yard. And I plan on making the Charmed Patterns night and day dress out of this fabric, and that's why I wanted the 6 yards, because I really want a nice full skirt, and I haven't decided yet whether I want sleeves or not, and there's so many options with that pattern that I wanted to make sure that I had enough fabric for it. Going around the area, there was another store called Home Decor Fabrics, and most of what it had inside there was upholstery fabrics, but in the far, far, far back there was some apparel fabric, and it was it looked like it'd been sitting there for a really long time. A lot of it was super dusty, and there was no prices on anything. So I went up to the main front with this sweatshirting fabric. Isn't that beautiful? It was a little dusty, but I like dusted it off, and I'm like, oh, I like this. And so I took it up to the front and asked how much it was, and it was $2 a yard. So I got 2 yards of it, and I'm planning on making a really nice, just a really nice top for the autumn and winter. I think it will look amazing paired with a navy skirt. And it's just a nice pop of color, even though it'll be worn primarily in the winter and fall. I am thinking a gable top, but I'm not so sure. It doesn't have a whole lot of stretch to it. It's more of a sweatshirting than a stretchy knit or anything, but it's a really good weight, and I just that print is just so pretty, so pretty. So that was the only thing that I got at the home decor fabrics. Around the corner, if you keep going, is CNC Fabrics, and CNC Fabrics is just like this one little hole in the wall. I mean, it really isn't very big at all, and primarily what they had mostly was just cotton prints, and they were really good priced. So you have your full price ones, which are like $5.99 to $8.99 a yard, which is still really good, because the lady, my friend actually bought this alien print fabric, and the store clerk was saying that somebody told her that Joann's was selling it for $16.99 a yard, and they had it there for like $5.99 a yard. So the full price is still relatively half price to big chain stores, so that was really cool. But they also had a clearance in the back, which was $2 a yard, and some of it was even $1 a yard. So I believe one of these was $1 a yard, but I don't remember which one. The rest of them were all $2 a yard, and I got 2 yards of each one. And so I got this lovely little dinosaur print, and again, I think I want to make Simplicity 1419 or something similar to that. I want to make something that really takes up a minimum of fabric, because I don't have a whole lot here, and I got sort of the minimum of 2 yards because I'm just thinking a fun little runaround dress. So I got that fabric to do that with. I got this dinosaur print. Is it upside down? It's upside down. This little dinosaur print that has the bones on it. Isn't that adorable? It's on this pink background. And then I got this yellow print that has these little crabs and hearts. Isn't it adorable? I think this is adorable. Again, I think I got 2 yards of this. Yeah, I think I got 2 yards. Maybe I got 3 yards of this. But it is so cute. And then I got, this was 100% rayon, it said on the box, and I think I only got 2 yards of this, but I really thought it was a pretty print, and I wanted to make something with it. I felt like it had a little bit of an Art Deco-y 40s feel to it, and it's 100% rayon at $2 a yard, so I thought that that was just really pretty. And if you have any suggestions for me for any of these patterns, for any of these fabrics, I'd love to hear them in the comments below, because I'm thinking something like the 1419, Simplicity 1419, that Lizette dress, because it's a very simple dress, but it still has more of an A-line skirt. But I'm open to other dress ideas. So what else do I have in this fabric here? So this fabric was totally inspired by Sean from Kittenish Behavior, because I saw this toucan fabric, and for whatever reason it made me think of her. So I bought like 4 yards. Did I buy 4 yards or 6 yards? I bought an unreasonable amount of this. This was $2 a yard, because I want a huge circle skirt and a big dress out of this. I mean, it's hilarious, I know, but I want a really big circle skirt out of this, and probably a matching top. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking, what if I made the what is that dress that, oh, the Jessica dress from Mimi G, because I have that pattern. That may also be a really fun Jessica dress as well. But I'm not sure. I think a big skirt would be fun. Speaking of big skirts, I saw this fabric and I couldn't resist getting it. So I got this. It is sort of a sheer fabric. Here, let me show you. So it is a sheer fabric, but it's got this stripe on it. And I just really, really loved it. they only had 3 yards on the bolt, and I really wanted to make some sort of like 1950s prom dress style big full circle skirt. But I went ahead and got all 3 yards, and that was on the Friday when we went to check out the stores. And then the following day we went back on Saturday just to see what they had, and it turned out they had another bolt of it, and I got the other bolt that had another 3 yards. So in total I have 6 yards of this. So it may become like another day and night dress. It may become something else. I'm not really sure. Again, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. The last few things at CNC Fabric, while most of what they had was simply quilting cottons, they did have a little bit of jersey, and these were $2 a yard. I think this coral one was the one that was $1 a yard, and I got 2 yards of this. I think this was all that was on the bolt, and I got 2 yards of this Kelly green. And so this is just a cotton jersey on both of these, and my plan is to make a couple of cardigans because I really love cardigans in the autumn time. I wear them all the time, and I don't have a really good Kelly green one, and I don't have a coral one, and I think these will be super nice. I just need to find the right pattern. I've got several patterns for cardigans, but my thing is I don't want it to look too droopy. I want it to have a nice fit, and I don't want it to be too long. I want more of that 50s cardigan silhouette. And I've seen a lot of people take the Astoria sweater and turn that into a cardigan, so that's something that I might consider doing. But if you have a suggestion for a really nice cardigan, again, I'd love to hear your comments below. The last store that we went to was Golden Dior Fabrics. So this one's actually off of Harry Hines and not on Perth Street. Perth Street is kind of behind the front street, and it's those warehouses. So this is actually on the main street of Harry Hines. And this is actually the very first store that we went to. And they are by far, I would say, have the most selection. They had a whole section of quilting cottons. They had a whole section of decorative fabrics, you know, beaded fabrics, lace fabrics. They had a section of spandex and stretch fabrics and swimwear fabrics. I mean, they had a ton of stuff. And since it was the very first store we went to, I didn't want to like overbuy on that first day. So we went to the clearance in the back, and they had a $1.99 table, similar to the Warehouse Fabrics who had the $2.95 table. Theirs was $1.99, but I would say that their selection was much more limited in the types of fabrics they had than what Warehouse Fabrics had. So that first day, I just picked up this. So this is more of a home decor fabric. It is a faux suede with a tropical print. But I am going to make some purses and a necessary clutch wallet out of it. I think it would be amazing. I just love that print, and I think it would be beautiful purse, and especially with the faux suede. So I got that. We decided to hit Golden Dior Fabrics a second time on Saturday because they were the only ones that had that I found power mesh at. And I was been wanting some power mesh to do some bra making, and I just haven't gotten around to doing that, especially since I buy all my fabric secondhand. I never really come across it. And it was $8.99 a yard. I felt like that was kind of expensive in my mind because of I'm buying things like $2.95 a yard, $1.99 a yard, but it's still, in the grand scheme of things, much cheaper than had I bought it like full price somewhere else. So I bought 1 yard of this pink power mesh. I figured 1 yard would last me quite a bit, and I thought that that would be perfect. So I got this. And then while we were there, I decided to go back and check the clearance area again. So the clearance area, like I said, they have the $1.99 table, and you get whatever cut you get. And then they also had a bunch of bolts on the walls, and it turns out the bolts on the walls were actually half price of whatever they were marked. And I didn't know that the first day. But again, most of them were quilting cottons, and I have a ton of quilting cottons. So my main goal was to find fabrics that I don't have or typically come across. And as it turns out, I already had the power mesh cut. I came across this. Now, I don't think that this is actually power mesh, simply because I don't think it has a two-way stretch, but it is a stretch mesh. So I think I might be able to get away with it to use for some bras that may not need as much stretch. I'm not sure, but this was $1.99 a yard, and it was I think there's 2 and a little bit yards here, so I am really eager to see what I can do with that. So the other thing that I got was this sports fabric. My husband has a lot of these t-shirts that we bought him that are made out of this sort of sportswear fabric that has these little holes, and it's really stretchy and it's really soft. And he has several t-shirts like this that he really loves the feel of. And there was this blue there that had the same fabric, $1.99 a yard, and I went ahead and picked it up. So I feel like on this Saturday they had pulled out more fabrics to toss out there on the $1.99 table than they did have on Friday. I will also say that all the stores were loaded on Saturday versus Friday when we went there. There wasn't a whole lot of people there. Another item that I got this silky satiny fabric that is a coral white and coral stripe. It is really pretty, really soft. I am thinking about making some sort of cami top out of it. I probably have a little more than that, so I'm not really sure, but I'm thinking like a sew over it silk cami would be really nice in this, and I could wear it with like a navy slacks or navy skirt. I think it would pair up really well with navy. So the last item that we got there at the Dior Fabrics was this lace fabric. So being inspired after seeing those Dior dresses, I thought I wanted to make something kind of fancy, especially when I came across this fabric. So it doesn't really look like much, I guess you could say, but it is got this lace on it, and it is this floral pattern on this lace. And it's so pretty, so pretty. Obviously it's completely see-through, but I'm thinking about making some sort of skirt. For whatever reason, the first thing that came to mind was the Lizzie skirt from Sew Over It, and to do a white skirt and then have this overlaid on the front of it. And at first I was concerned that, like, well, what am I gonna pair it with? But I ended up finding another bundle of it. So I think I've got 4 yards total. So this might be kind of fun. What I could do is a 2-piece where I have a top and a skirt that I can wear together and make it look like a fancy dress, or I could wear separately. So maybe I could wear the top with some slacks, and so just add a little bit of flair to it. I thought I could wear the skirt even with that camisole right there, so kind of dress it down but still have a little bit of elegance, and then when paired together you could have this amazing sort of fancy party dress. So I think that's what I'm going to do with that fabric. I'm really excited about it. But I don't know when that's going to happen. It may be a holiday dress, even though it's probably going to be a relatively thin dress. I still think I might end up working on it for the holidays. So that is pretty much everything that I got at the fabric outlets there in Dallas. I tried to really restrain myself because I have so much fabric and I really don't need any more. But I will say one thing is that after going to the stores there in Dallas, I feel like I shouldn't get so much when I go to the antique stores, because we find so many fabrics at antique stores and such good deals, you know, $1 a yard and stuff. But the problem with that is that you're kind of stuck with however much yardage you have there, and the biggest problem is that they're not always quality fabrics. I mean, the majority of what I've got in my stash is quilting cottons, which is great for certain types of dresses. I mean, this is a quilting cotton that I'm wearing now. But if you're looking for specialty fabric like the power mesh or the sports fabric, you definitely are not going to find it at the antique stores. So I feel like this was a great opportunity to find reasonably priced specialty fabrics. And so if I'm ever in the need of, you know, power mesh or sports fabrics or lace overlay, I'm definitely going to head back down to Dallas to get those types of fabrics. So again, I'd love to hear in the comments below any ideas or suggestions that you have about any of the fabrics that I shared with you today. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Akram's Ideas, and thanks for watching.
I went fabric shopping. Okay, there you go. I went to Dallas to buy fabric, hoping to make the